here we have the Fighting Commander from Hori, a wireless joypad for the Super Nintendo Classic Mini. I'm just going to call it the Super Nintendo Mini from here on in. And this I picked up recently, kind of by mistake, in Japan, in a shop called Surigoya, which those of you who don't know is like a second-hand shop in Japan. They're really popular and they sell a lot of gaming related stuff, and you can always pick up some really good stuff in there game-wise and accessory-wise. And I picked this up, and I say mistakenly because I thought this was for the regular Super Nintendo. I didn't assume that they would be selling Super Nintendo Mini stuff. I just thought that wasn't retro enough for the store. I thought it'd be too new. So I picked this up thinking that's what it was, which is fine. I thought it wasn't something I was after, but it was 70 something I thought for 2,900 yen, which is about, I don't know, 25 US dollars thereabouts. I'm not exactly sure, but not too far off that mark anyway. I thought, yeah, it's worth a gamble. And generally when you buy stuff in stores like that in Japan, you can be pretty certain it's going to work. So I thought that was a good gamble. But when I got it back to my hotel room, I noticed, and I'll just disconnect the dongle from the actual Super Nintendo Mini here, that this was for a Super Nintendo Mini, not for a regular Super Famicom or Super Nintendo. So I was kind of happy about that because I was planning to buy a second one of these, and this is the 8-bit Do. We're calling it that, is it? I always thought it was 8-bit Do. Anyway, the 8-bit Do. This is the wireless adapter that they make, which will work with majority of wireless controllers you can get now. So PlayStation 5 controllers, the Switch. Oh, hang on, that's not the Switch one. The Switch has a wireless one like this, right? Has a wireless one of the Super Nintendo joypad, and you can connect that to it as well. Works really well. Highly recommend it, but it's more expensive, I find, than this here, which is available on eBay. And if you do go looking for it, just note that the box I have is the Japanese branded box. It is an officially licensed product by Nintendo, by the way, but the box you'll be looking for looks more like the European and American branding aesthetic that Nintendo went with all their box stuff back in the 90s. So that's what you'll be looking for, but it is still called the Fighting Commander by Hori. There's the model number for you if you want to go and look that up on eBay, and you shouldn't have to expect to pay any more than 30 US dollars, I would imagine. The main differences, as you can tell from the original controller that came with the Super Nintendo Mini, obviously it's a little bit longer to accommodate for this here L and R button, which is on the face of it. And I like that because with fighting games, that is a bit more appealing to a lot of fighters. You'd like to have all your kicks or punches in one row, as opposed to using the shoulder buttons for the harder kicks and punches in Street Fighter, for example, which is what we're going to use to demo this. If you're not familiar with these switches and why they're there, well, if you flick them up just once, that is a turbo selection. I won't push it up just to the top just yet because it might activate the game, but that just means in turbo mode, when you hit down the Y button, for example, here, it'll rapidly press the button for you. You just hold it down once and it'll rapidly press it for you on your behalf. And if you put it up to H, don't know why that says what it's H for, but I would have labeled it A. It automatically just presses it. You don't even have to press the button. Once you switch it up, all those buttons that you've gone and pushed all the way up to the very top are constantly being activated, just being hit. What we have down here, slow, right? That isn't an insult to your intelligence. No, that is just a slow motion feature, which basically when you switch that up, it pretends it's hitting the start button over and over again to give a slow motion effect in the game, which is pointless in my opinion. Don't know anyone who ever used that back in the 90s when other joypads were released with these similar features, and there was lots of them out back then, but it's there if you want to use it. So L and R are on the face buttons here, and you can also use them up here too, and it doesn't matter, you don't need to set anything up to change between the two. They are always active. On the back is the cover for the battery compartment, and it takes 2 AA batteries. You can choose rechargeable or just buy new ones every time you need to get new ones in there. And also it will power off after 3 minutes of no use, so that helps save your batteries and you don't need to worry about pulling them out or anything like that. So 3 minutes kind of sleep time, and leave it there and it will save battery power for you. The pressing of the buttons, the tactileness, does it feel the same as the original one? Well, yeah, I can confirm it does. In my opinion, it does. When you press any of these buttons here, it feels just like the original one. So does the directional pad, so do the shoulder buttons, and the select and start buttons all feel pretty much exactly the same as the original controller, not just with the new one that came with the Super Nintendo Mini, but it's also the same with any of the original ones. So it's really, really good like for like experience, except you've just got the extra buttons here and the turbo stuff, and of course the modern day feature of wireless connectivity, which we'll set up now. You might have noticed when I press the buttons, it starts flashing. That's because it's looking for connection to the dongle. One thing just to show you, right, so it connects really quickly. I'll just do it now. And I can assure you it's connected. The light has gone out, and the reason light goes out is because it's connected, which is a little bit confusing, because you would think a light would come on to show you there is life into it, but no. So I'll prove it to you. Watch, I'll press start, and it's activated the title screen on Street Fighter. So let's get into a game to have a look at the latency, which I've already done, and I can guarantee you that it is minimum as you'll probably expect to get on a wireless controller, but just let's have a look. Now, I'm not the greatest Street Fighter 2 player, or in this case Street Fighter 2 Hyper, and also I have an average success rate on successfully pulling off the special moves first time. So if I don't get them first time, that's not any fault of the controller, that's me. I'm meant to be pointing that way. That's you, and I'm here, right? So I'm gonna get blank. Let's turn the sound on, and I'll try and do a dragon punch. Yeah, first time, nice one, cool. And then on the using the face, I'm shite at this. There we go. So it's done. It's all possible. Oh, come on. But yeah, they're all really, really responsive. Oh, he's gonna kick my ass, isn't he? Alright. But all the buttons are really, really responsive. The latency on there is not noticeable. And I have this going through a capture card as well. So it's going to be a little bit added extra in my system than you would even experience at home if you just got this connected directly to a television. But even then, it is minimal. The only reason I'm not doing great on this is because I am bad, not because the controller is bad. So let's see if I can finish this even. I didn't know what to choose. I was going to go with a punch or not. Yeah. Alright, so he's dead. So that's it, basically. It's a good controller, and it's a good price if you can get it second hand. Just bear in mind that the version I have is a Japanese version, so whichever version you get, if it's this one or the American branded one, you're going to be pleasantly surprised of how well and how good this controller is, especially if you're looking for to buy a second controller or just want a wireless adaptation or wireless option, excuse me, to play your Super Nintendo Mini. Get this. It's just as good as the 8-bit Do dongle, but you get a controller. I think it works out cheaper overall, and some extra benefits which you wouldn't normally get. Not that I'm saying that this is bad. It's really, really good, but this might work out better value for you. That is it. The Fighting Commander from Hori. I've always been a little bit nervous when I'm saying the name of the manufacturer there. Hori. Sounds a little bit close to a word that would get you into trouble if you said it to the missus. That is it. If you enjoyed this and would like to motivate me to make more videos like this, then like, subscribe, and tick the bell. Yeah, do that. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully get to see you somehow in the next one. Thank you. Bye.